Okay, this is the video quiz for chapters 2, 3, and 9. So for chapter 2, I said the key idea in the chapter was how to prepare yourself to not be nervous before you give a speech. I said this stood out to me because it could have really helped me in high school whenever we were giving speeches, because I always got super nervous to present in front of people. It says, what did you learn in the chapter that you did not know before reading it? I learned how to prepare myself for speeches without being visibly nervous. For example, you shouldn't memorize your slides. You should plan what you say, but you don't need to memorize it 100%. Memorize some key points, but don't memorize the entire slide, because you're just going to sound like a robot. These ideas are important in public speaking because the audience can sense when you're nervous, and then that just makes them more nervous. When you're in high school, you give some speeches or you present, and you get super nervous, but then you realize that all of your classmates are also super nervous as well. How can they be used in other areas of your personal and or professional life? These ideas can help you throughout your whole life because you'll have to give speeches to people when you're working. If you're required to give a speech for work and you do a poor job because you were nervous, it won't look good. It won't represent you well, and your boss will probably be upset with you. So for chapter 3, the key idea that stood out to me were the steps of critical thinking. I thought that stood out to me because I've never had a teacher actually explain what critical thinking was. She just asked us what we thought critical thinking meant and never clarified. So this chapter taught me that critical thinking has to do with also being able to pick credible sources. There's a list that was given in I think of 6 little steps that was given in the chapter that taught us how to use critical thinking to make sure our sources are reliable. I think this was important in public speaking because critical thinking is very important to talking in general, so therefore it would obviously have a critical role in public speaking. Critical thinking skills can help you all throughout your professional life because you'll have to critically think to solve problems. Let's say you're an accountant and your books don't balance. You're going to have to use critical thinking to figure out why your books aren't balancing, because they have to be balanced. So then for chapter 9, the key idea that stood out to me was the importance of delivery in public speaking. It's important because I usually focus on the content and then just read it off of a paper or the slide, but you really just need to it's important to plan out what you're going to say, but then also know how you're going to say it and know what you're going to say. The chapter taught me that there are different types of speeches. Reading from a manuscript is one, reciting from memory an impromptu speech, and speaking extemporaneously. These ideas are important to public speaking because there are differences in all of them. When a politician is giving a speech, he's most likely not reciting from memory. He's most likely reading from a manuscript because of the importance of the speech. So when you're watching a presidential inauguration, that speech that he's giving was probably written by somebody else, and he's rereading it off of a paper. These ideas can be used in both personal and professional lives, because in your personal life you might have to give an impromptu speech at a wedding or a funeral, and then you could possibly have to memorize something for a class.